And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Let us find out what episode of this show it is. I want to guess 206 as the internet loads up on the very slow computer. The episode is 211. Welcome to episode 211 of the Constitutionals Podcast. Turning myself up. That is down. Okay, here we are. We're back at it again. Do another episode. Took 2 weeks off because tain't no news nowhere. And then I forgot I couldn't do it on Friday because I was busy. With what? I can't remember. But I'm sure it was important. What'd I do Friday? I don't know. Still Sam's job. And that's becoming dire, baby. Oh, it's becoming dire. What else has been going on? Nothing much. Just hanging out. Chilling. That's it. It was Shark Week 2 weeks ago at some point. And I watched a lot of that. I watched Jackass did a Shark Week. The computer can barely handle a camera and loading a web page right now. So if it does stutter, it is not my problem. I did watch a Jackass Shark Week special where one of the new guys, yes, and they have new people apparently, did end up getting bitten. So they did something stupid and one of them was bitten. I think it was bitten on the hand, but it was enough blood to flow in the water to make the water go red to where people had to jump in and go, get him out, get him out. It was a very entertaining piece. So if you have Discovery Plus, you should watch it because it is on Discovery Plus, which I currently paid $1 for on Amazon Prime Day, and boy, am I getting that dollar worth. No, I'm not getting the dollar worth. What else is going on? Okay, so here is. Just slid back in my chair and almost fell out. So I speaking of Shark Week for the longest amount of time has been its own thing. And then enter National Geographic. They started a shark programming week. And now they're both doing it basically at the same time. And I think National Geographic's runs a little bit longer. This comes from Addie Morefoot over at Variety. Inside the Shark Week versus Shark Fest battle for cable and streaming viewers. I assume this is going to be a news time next year. Next time there's a Shark Week, because that would have been a great idea. So you know about Discoveries. I had no idea about National Geographic's truly until the last week when it came on. Discovery Shark Week is about 33 years old. Now, both of them, the companies are going to air already aired, 66 hours of new shark programming through the remainder of the summer. There will be 45 additional hours of new unscripted shark-oriented programming on the cable network, Discovery, beginning July 11th through the 25th, more hours than last year. With some streaming on its 7-month-old Discovery Plus service. And that's where I think the Jackass thing lives because it's a special thing. Nat Geo's 9th Shark Fest, so they've been doing it for 9 years. Sounds about under a decade. Meanwhile, boasts 21 hours of new programming over a 6-week period that kicked off July 5th. Yeah, so it's definitely longer. With additional shark programming sharing on parent company Disney Plus service. I definitely saw that. Beyond its 3 affiliated cable channels, National Geographic, Nat Geo Wild, and Nat Geo Mundo. I don't think YouTube TV has Nat Geo Mundo. I'll have to check that out. Been watching a lot of Nat Geo, though. Sans the Shark Week. Sans, whatever. Now, the better thing is about this Shark Week, or this past, I guess, couple of Shark Weeks, has been that Discovery has been getting a crap ton of hosts, of like famous A-lister hosts. So Chris Hemsworth, Tiffany Haddish, Shatner, Ian Ziering from Sharknado, because I'm sure people still reference that. There were like 5 of those movies, and the first one was fine. I'm not going to say good. And now, basically, the profile of this is these channels are taking each other on, and now that there's the entrance of streaming, they're going to be able to expand well past the initial offering of the 24 hours a day that they have these Shark programs. Now, Shark Week pulled in about 21 million viewers over a 7-day period last year, while 31.1 million tuned in to Shark Fest over a 5-week period, according to Nat Geo. Well, when you stretch it out, of course you're going to have more people. Also, I don't know how many people watch Nat Geo. That's very interesting. I wonder what the ads are like for Shark Week. Apparently, speaking of ads, this comes from the head of research at LG Ads, Justin Fromm. 37% of Shark Week viewers in 2020 had not watched Discovery the month prior to the launch. It is true. Again, I remember 51% of Shark Fest viewers had not watched Nat Geo the month before the franchise premiered. That's very true. Yeah, I get that. I remember Phil. Oh God. What is his name? Somebody feed Phil. His name is Phil. Oops. This spelled Phil with an F. Somebody feed Phil. Phil Rosenthal. It didn't even load up yet. Phil Rosenthal created, obviously, Somebody Feed Phil, and Everybody Loves Raymond. Loves those 3-word titles. Obviously, he said on a podcast appearance a couple of years ago. He said, I'm gonna butcher this quote. When he pitched Somebody Feed Phil to Discovery, they're looking for, Food Network. They're looking for food adjacent shows. So Food Network is owned by Discovery, and so they're looking for science adjacent shows, as opposed to years and years and years ago when Food Network and Discovery used to be just straight up science, straight up food shows, and now they have to have this kind of flexibility when it comes to this stuff. I think Shark Week is still a wonderful, wonderful thing. It just differentiates itself, and I like how they can bring in the different people that host shows on their network to bring them in for one-off specials. And even this, the Jackass thing, I think it was well worth the 44 minutes I spent with it. And they didn't show special commercials. I mean, obviously I watched it on Prime channels, Discovery Plus via Prime channels, but it was a nice little special to see them do 4 different stunts that were very Jackass-esque, and it was fun to see. And it kind of reminds me of, on HGTV, there's a show called Hometown Makeover. That's the spinoff. Hometown is the show with that husband and wife who live in Laurel, Mississippi, or Missouri, one of those. I don't know. It's a state I'll never go to. A state I'm not welcome in. Either of those states I'm not welcome in, and for obvious reasons. and they have a show called Hometown Makeover, where they basically do the hometown, instead of rebuilding a house or fixing up a house in the hometown of Laurel. Then the first season they went to the town in Alabama and they fixed up various businesses there. And I think it's such a cool idea. And they also brought in different people from the HGTV fold. And that's what I think is interesting, for you to have all this cross-contamination, cross-pollination, pollinization of all your talents. That's what on Food Network, another Discovery thing. I'm just going to stay with Discovery this entire time. They have, for Chopped and Guys Grocery Games and the rest of those competition shows, they bring in other hosts from their other shows, and I think it's just a wonderful thing. So Shark Week is it's nice to have competition. You don't want to be the only thing. Shark Week used to be huge before streaming, and even before that, it was before cable became the mainstream. It was just, you would hear people, Shark Week. Oh, Shark Week. Oh, Shark Week. Oh, Shark Week. Oh, Shark Week. That's what they would do. Trust me. I'm in the fields. is what I wanted to say. God, this computer is just really struggling. Maybe I'll be one of those people that does everything from the iPad. when I see those people, when I was in college, I think my first year in college, the first iPad came out, and or the second year, whatever. Yeah, second year. Second year I was in college, the first iPad came out, and I understand laptops in class and using them and all that stuff, but this one guy I remember who I also did not like because he had he was always talking, but he had the widest mouth. Imagine like a bass. People with the widest mouths bothered the crap out of me. But he brought in his iPad to first of all to be 19 years old and have that technology, the most expensive at the time, the most expensive thing besides a laptop. I was angry at him for being much more rich than I, much more rich, and he was like, this is before keyboard accessories. This is before pencils. All you had for the iPad was a case, and he was using that to basically take notes and stuff. And I just thought, that's insane. That's never going to catch on. That's so dumb. Just get a laptop. And here we are. People are working off of their iPads, and some people working off their phones. I can plug in this Galaxy over here, and it becomes a computer thanks to the DeX platform, which is crazy. All right. This comes from Peter White over at Deadline. Netflix is entering the gaming medium. Netflix, time is right, quote, unquote, for gaming and streaming, a streamer platform, streamer plans expansion. Yes. Video games to be included in a monthly subscription. So, Viacom, Jesus. Netflix has been interested in getting in the space for a little bit. They started with, Bandersnatch, and there's a Dragon Quest Your Story I have yet to play. It came out like 3 years ago, and it's been in my list for 3 years. And a lot of their shows have followed the Bandersnatch, and Bandersnatch is the most popular, but it's definitely not the first. Well, you know what? I think it might be. It's one of the first, but it's definitely the most popular. And a lot of their shows have followed suit with that. Last Kids on Earth, Boss Baby Back in Business, and that one served as kind of a post-show finale before the movie came out. That Boss Baby Back in Business, I say it for Teen Titans Go To. Get past the fart jokes and the butt jokes, and how Beast Boy talks like a slave, and you have a really good show. And Boss Baby 2 what is it called? What's the show called? Boss Baby Back in Business ended on a note that just led into the movie so well. And same thing for King Julian. It led into Madagascar 1 so well. And the timeline makes so much sense, and it explains so many things. Like, what is King Julian doing beforehand? And for Boss Baby, I mean, what did they do in between Boss Baby 1 and Boss Baby 2? And you didn't need that. Same thing for the Turbo show, which I don't think really the movie fed into it at all. But I don't think we'll see Turbo ever again. Because that show ended, and that movie's not coming back. So Netflix is going to first gave its ideas about streaming last Tuesday in the second quarter shareholders letter that said the time is right to learn more about how our members value games. And so the one thing I wanted to mention was Minecraft. There was a Minecraft game on Netflix. So because I don't play this. There's a Minecraft game by Mojang, of course, by Mojang. What is it called? Telltale, by Telltale. Yeah, Minecraft Story Mode, where you follow a character played by Patton Oswalt, and it takes away the sandbox, but you're on this linear path, and you get to choose, A, B, or C to do whatever for your story, but ultimately it all ends up in basically the same thing. And so that was one of the first original games, one of the first video games that came to the Netflix platform. And it makes sense because that's how you play. But now there's Stranger Things games that are going to be pushed on for mobile devices, and then they have those video versions, Bandersnatch and Minecraft Story Mode. So they're going to start making it able for you to play games based on their properties. There'll probably be a Money Heist side scroller at some point, a Lupin gallery, game where you can look at pictures or something. I don't know, but they're going to primarily focus on mobile devices. Uh, Whereas, I mean, I don't know if that means downloading a separate app because the Stranger Things games you have to download separate apps for. But if they're going to include this in the subscription, the only thing I can see is that, and I picked up my phone here, and I'm scrolling over to the video file and look at Netflix. The only thing, oh, excuse me. Finally, something just happened on my email. No, it's not a job. I wish it was. I would tell you. But I can imagine that under, if you're watching the video, you can see. I can imagine that under the, oh, look at that. Somewhere in the tab here, you're going to be able to just, hit games, and then it's going to take you to a game section. You can play a game or something. Now they have these kind of TikTok story things that I just don't like. I don't want to have fast laughs. I just want to see home coming soon and downloads. But also, this raises the question: how many people are watching on mobile? I can't imagine that they have a huge audience on mobile. But obviously they do, where this is their focus. I think via the Roku app and the Apple TV app and the Google TV app and the Xbox and the PlayStation apps, they can't truly offer something where you can directly control something, because what it all boils down to is it's just a video for Bandersnatch. You're watching a video where you can choose some type of DVD-esque options. DVD and Dave Matthews Band. No, DVD. Dave Matthews Band. Yeah, we'll workshop it a little bit. That's my, you know how they have, why am I digging deeper? You know how they have people cover bands? That's my band for Dave Matthews Band. Okay, let's keep moving on. But there's no way to offer a direct control of something. So we'll see how they implement that. I think it's just going to be, for mobile especially, it's going to be either a separate app called Netflix Games, or there's going to be a tab, Netflix Games, that it's going to, they tried to spin off Quickster. They tried to spin off the DVD section of Netflix into Quickster, and that didn't work, obviously. And so then they just folded it back into Netflix. So I can only imagine this is going to carry the Netflix branding, because otherwise it's just going to fail. And so but I imagine it's going to be like within the app, and then it's just going to launch, a sub app within the app. That's just a theory of mine. Obviously, don't take me for word. Don't take me for word. This next one comes from Wall Street Journal, written by Benjamin Mullen and Lillian Rizzo. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts and Viacom CBS Chairman Sherry Redstone met to discuss streaming partnership. Now, I know what this sounds like. It sounds like they're about to merge. No dice. That will never, ever, ever get through. I don't think, especially after what happened with Disney and Fox and Amazon and MGM, and now Discovery and Warner, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But increasingly, it has been hard, or overseas people who stream know how hard it is to get American shows and movies over there on the streaming services. Hulu was not the best, and I don't think it's still the best when it comes to streaming stuff. Netflix obviously leads. HBO Max is going to be just, and Disney Plus are going to be just exploding overseas, because they're doing it right. Disney bought Hotstar and Star Media and all that stuff, whatever. I don't know if it's Star Media, but that's how they're able to work in India, and in England you have all that great things, but you still don't, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is on Netflix in Canada, I believe, and around the world, but here it's on Hulu. And that's just because that there are different streaming deals done when you're outside of the United States. So what Comcast and Viacom want to do is they want to team up to make their apps and such easier to stream outside of the United States. And it's better when you have the infrastructure to do so. Like Disney just had the capital to do it. Netflix had the name recognition and the ability to build in the capital as well. Same thing goes for Warner. But when you're Comcast and you have Peacock, and it's hard to get it. Like the faster you do this, the more you're going to the more you're going to have subscribers come sooner. And we have Paramount Plus, which is just rebranded. No matter how old CBS All Access was, then that's how you're going to get things done. So in May, Viacom CBS said its Paramount Plus service would be available in 45 markets by 2022. In April, Comcast said it was going to strike partnerships with local programmers and distributors in overseas markets to boost Peacock. Now, they're always looking for deals like this. And this kind of comes through as a bundle of sorts. So maybe in China, I don't know. And let me just name a random place: Wuhan, in Wuhan, China. Maybe in somewhere in China, you're going to be able to finally get Paramount Plus and Peacock, and they're going to offer it to you in the same way that Disney offers Hulu and ESPN Plus in that Disney bundle. Maybe you'll be able to pay, $8 for Paramount Plus and for Peacock for the ad supported versions, and that'll save you some money in the long run. Some analysts on Wall Street view Comcast and Viacom as potential candidates for murder. A candidate for murder. Viacom, Viacom, Comcast. We think you're candidates for murder. We think you're going to murder someone at some point. We'll find you. We're the precogs now. Total Recall. Just explain every single joke. So Viacom and Comcast are pretty much late when it comes to streaming, and now they're just trying to get out. Peacock has about 42 million signups, but less than 10 million people are paying for the service. That's in May. That's from the Journal as well. And I don't know how many people are paying for Paramount Plus. Well, one. I was watching, obviously I was watching Big Brother and the beautiful Whitney. Paramount Plus has 36 million subs. The streaming markets are difficult. Especially, when it was just cable, when it wasn't streaming, you just didn't get a show. And now the most important thing you can do is get your show on a platform. And not just on any platform, but on a platform where you can get more viewers. And that's why you see a lot of cross-pollination. Even here, I said the cross-pollination again. Even here, Viacom is saying, hey, if you want our shows from Paramount on Paramount Plus, you can take them. You can put them on Hulu. We want the viewers. Because in the end, it's not just how many subscribers you have, as Netflix is proving, because they lose subscribers. They don't grow, and that's why they kind of have to expand. And you can see that in the quarterly results. Having what I saw, Road to Perdition is on it's on Netflix. I think it might be on Hulu, and it's also on Paramount Plus. And then shows like Survivor or an Amazing Race, American Race. Amazing Race, but it's only in America. They visited several cities exactly 45 times. But Amazing Race, Survivor, shows like that, they're also on Netflix, and Amazing Race is on Hulu, and you can watch every season there. Whereas you can only watch like the last 2 or 3 on Paramount Plus. At some point, the TV contracts are kind of you see them and you understand them. But once a show reaches syndication, 100 episodes traditionally, and if it's a cartoon, 65 or 52, whatever, then they're going to be able to go out in syndication. Modern Family, The Goldbergs, they're going to be able to sell those shows to different networks. I think USA has Modern Family, and they air it all the time. Seinfeld's on TBS, sped up about 13%. You notice it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, same thing. TBS sped up 15%. Family Guy is on Adult Swim, it's on Freeform, it's on FX, and it's on Fox. That's 4 different networks, and it started on Fox. And just because it's Disney owned doesn't mean they're not going to let Adult Swim air it. Futurama's on Sci-Fi. It used to be on Adult Swim. I miss it. So, but when it comes to these streaming things, there's no true definition or answer to how to get these things regulated. This next one comes from Todd Spangler over at Variety. HBO Max launches free episodes on Snapchat. Now, Snapchat just had an amazing quarter, and their revenue, their stock went up. Let's just say a metric crap ton. I counted them out. I you know what? I'll tell you. I counted them out when they launched, when they went to stock market, and their numbers just went down. And I truly only know like a handful of people that still. I was gonna put a number to it, as if the number was correct. I only know a handful of people that still use Snapchat, and even still, they're posting virtually the same thing, probably even the same things from their Snapchat onto their Instagram stories, because they're also posting their TikToks on the Instagram stories. It's all the same. I'm not going to quote Hotel California. I thought I was, but I did not. So Warner Media is letting Snapchat users in the U.S. watch select pilots of the streaming service's original series for free. That's with up to 63 friends. So you can watch things: Flight Attendant, Lovecraft Country, Game of Thrones, Gossip Girl reboot, Euphoria. You can watch these episodes, free episodes, again free, with friends through Snap Minis, the company's platform for shared experiences on Snapchat. Did not know that was a thing, obviously, because I don't use it. This is the first company that has done this before. Snapchat has about 93 million daily active users in North America in the first quarter of 2021. And this is going to sound like a joke. A lot of that has to be, porn or something. I mean, it's true. It's got to be, a lot of that has to be something of some type of sexual activity. I mean, look at Chris D'Elia. In Q1, HBO Max had 9.69 million retail subs. Q1 of this year. Just some quotes. This is, I think it's a cool thing to do, and the co-viewing is a very important thing. That's why you saw Apple a year late introduce watching things from Apple TV only on through FaceTime with your friends, with like 4 to 8 of your friends, something like that. Only 4 to 8. So if you have if there's 3 of you, get the heck out of here. But I think this is a neat idea. And if it draws you in, I don't know. I don't think HBO Max has a co-viewing option itself, so they should probably work on that. But I don't think I heard someone talk about the co-viewing option, on Disney Plus, and what it is, and I can only assume it works the same way for Prime and Hulu. It does not look like HBO has a co-viewing option. HBO Max rather. And what the co-viewing is for those apps that do have it, I think it is you just get into a room and you watch it together. But if you want to talk or something, you're going to have to call them or FaceTime them or Skype them or whatever. Which begs the question, why? I mean, obviously during the pandemic that works. If you live on different sides of the country or even the world, that's great. I can say, hey, let's watch Monsters at Work together. And I'll send you the room code, and then we can watch a very boring show together and not laugh. They probably talk through it. But other than that, I just don't see the utility. But this is cool because you're only watching one episode and then you got to move on. I mean, and it brings people back to the app, and if you have 63 friends to watch that with, more power to you. Man, that's cool. I don't even think I have 623 friends. I should have said 36. All right, now we have a couple of meaty stories. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I want to save this next one for the last. So I'm going to move it around on Notion. And the move is at the bottom. I love that I just talked as I did that. So next up, second to last story. We're almost done here. Don't worry about it. I'll get you out of here in 30, 40 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. This comes from Alex Waprin. Over at The Hollywood Reporter, CNN to launch CNN Plus streaming service in 2022. So I knew about this. I mean, we knew CNN Plus was coming. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. But I knew about this before they even announced it because I got an email from CNN because I applied to a lot of jobs. And they said, CNN Plus is coming. And we're going to bring 200 jobs. And I said, oh, are you now? Oh, God. But that's coming in 2022. So the plan is they're going to have, quote, it's going to be an additive experience that complements the core CNN linear networks and digital platforms and will launch with 8 to 12 hours of live programming. They're going to have the on-demand content, the Anthony Bourdain show, Lisa Ling show. But they're also going to have at least 8 hours of live shows, of brand new live shows. And I forgot, somebody just recently left, I think, in MSNBC to join, this is CNN. They just left MSNBC to join CNN Plus. So you're also going to get HLN and CNN International. Carriage agreements with paid TV providers is important. Prohibit CNN from simply porting its live TV offerings onto its streaming service. So that means you can't do the HBO Max thing and subscribe, to to YouTube TV or to Spectrum or whatever, and then say, hey, I want to watch CNN Plus on my phone, because it's got to be 2 separate things. Authenticated pay TV customers will be able to watch CNN's standard live linear feed in the same app alongside CNN Plus. I mean, again, I think that's and I know it's contractual things based from the pay TV stuff, but I just think that's a kind of a sneaky move. Sneaky move, sis. Pretty sneaky, sis. Is that what he says?
Pretty sneaky, sis.
So CNN Plus also had a new first look over at Variety, an exclusive inside look from Andrew Wallenstein. Doesn't matter. The details are withheld for now, but they're gonna have it's gonna be everything that CNN has. They're gonna hire about 450 people over the next 6 to 9 months to support CNN Plus. There's not going to be a political slant from CNN Plus. We'll see about that. And they're spelling out the word plus. They're not using the plus sign, which I think they should name it like CNN More. There's too many pluses out there. Discovery. I mean, that's why, HBO Max makes a lot of sense. Let's be different. Prime Video. Is it Amazon Prime Video or is it Prime Video? I call it Prime Video. And other people say I'm insane because I'm alone and I'm talking to this podcast. Sources familiar with the new streaming service indicated there's a strong probability that CNN Plus will be bundled in some fashion with HBO Max and Discovery Plus after the merger is finalized. And again, I think this, there's a lot of CNN shows and docs on HBO Max, and I think this kind of announcement just kind of deflates that side of HBO Max. If you look under HBO Max, and again I'm on the app, They have the different sections of HBO Max. HBO, they have Max Originals, DC, Turner Classic Movies, Adult Swim, Studio Ghibli, Cartoon Network, Sesame Workshop, Looney Tunes, and Crunchyroll. And that's the differentiating stuff. But if you go under the news and talk section of HBO Max, then you have the some Sesame Street stuff, and which is like the COVID stuff, as well as a bunch of older shows. But a lot of that stuff mixed in is CNN stuff, the CNN shows, the '80s. Oh God, I named one, the '90s, Race for the White House. All these different shows and specials that do have a place on HBO Max are now probably going to disappear from HBO Max, or maybe they'll have them on both. I don't think anyone really needs to subscribe to a news service like that. I subscribe to the Journal and to New York Times because there's a breadth of options on there to read. And obviously, it's not a video service, but to read. But and maybe I'll do a news time on this, but I will, because it's definitely written down. But Fox News has an app, and now CNN has an app, and then there's only time will tell if NBC decide. I mean, Peacock's not doing terribly well, so but if NBC decides to just say, all right, we're going to put it in MSNBC, see more, MSNBC more, okay, app out there. And now Fox is going to have a weather app because apparently it's too much. It's too much to get the weather from the Weather Channel with these snowflakes. I want to get that snowflake weather. I want to get the weather with the truth. CNN Plus is going to have new faces. And yes, I was right. Cassie Hunt, she left NBC, who was she was an NBC correspondent covering Capitol Hill. And now she's, I can only assume, going to head to CNN Plus, because they do not have room on their television schedule. And I can only imagine Anderson Cooper's going to get more shows. Sanjay Gupta. Don Lemon. He was the one who caused an uproar because he said that he's leaving. And then it just turned out that he was leaving his time slot and making a new show or something like that. Something stupid. So, enter CNN Plus. It'll be here next year. And this last thing, which was originally the thing before the last thing, comes from Hollywood Reporter, written by Katie Kilkenny. What a name. 3 Ks. Without clear ladder to advance, Hollywood supports staff seeks living wage. So this is a great, I don't want to say expose, but this is a great coverage. This is great coverage of something that's happening with IATSE Local 871. IATSE is the union. I don't know what it stands for, so let's... Come on. Okay. IATSE. Mine is 479. And also, I'm not part of it. I'm not paying $2,000 to be part of a union. Come on. What does IATSE stand for? I should know this, but again, I'm not part of it, so I really don't give a flying hoot. Oh, God, come on. This is embarrassing. I'm making all these stupid friggin' jokes. Let's say, I'm going to say international. International. It's a labor union. International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Jiminy Christmas. Why did that take so long to find? Why is my computer so slow? Why did I Google the wrong things? So IATSE 871, that's the Los Angeles one. They're looking to get better wages. And I think Gavin Newsom also opened up $300 million for tax incentives for people to shoot things in California, which I don't think is a lot. I don't think that's a lot. I think New York opened up 100 million, and I don't think Georgia opened any more out. So they're trying to have these negotiations for a quote to quote codify a living wage for script coordinators, writers assistants, assistant production coordinators, and then art department coordinators. So a lot of these behind the scenes people, they're very important, but they're kind of thankless jobs, and they get paid not favorably. And this is my area. I'd be in the script coordinators and the writer's assistants and the assistant production coordinators and all that stuff. IATSE members will not reveal what specific minimum rates they are seeking as negotiation deals are being kept under wraps during a media blackout period. Still, several union members have encouraged at least $25 an hour with a 60-hour-a-week guarantee and hashtag I living wage tweets. 60 hours. So that's like 12-hour days essentially, which makes sense. That's how long you work if you work in the industry. You're basically 12-hour minimum. It sounds like a lot. It is, but when you get paid well enough to understand it, and you're only working for like what? You're making a movie for what? 3 months. So let's say 90 days. Jesus, Chad. Yeah, that's a good amount. That's a good amount of money. Do your own math. You're not working every single week, but do your own math. The official hours guarantee per week is important, sources say, because then workers will also be paid for 60 hours a week on holidays when low-paid support staffers typically see a dip in pay or no pay at all. So that's like if 4th of July lands on a Tuesday or something, and you're off that Wednesday, you're off Monday, you don't get paid for Saturday and Sunday unless you work Saturday and Sunday, but you're also, getting paid the pay that you need. You almost saw the light behind me. I put the light behind me because it makes me look brighter, even though it's really dark in here. Local 871 Vice President Art Department Coordinator Marissa Shipley adds that the union calculated the average LA rent price for zip codes where members live, which is about $1,770 a month, which is about how much I will be paying in a couple of weeks when I have to renew. And the minimum salary they would need not to be considered, quote, rent burden, which is over a little over $70,000 a year. If members were working 39 weeks a year, that's why I said, only, you're not working all the time. You're going to have hiatuses. 39 weeks a year at 60 hours a week, 5 days a week, 60 hours, 12-hour days, which is an optimistic figure, is what they're saying, from 2017 to 2020. These members tended to work less than 26 weeks per year per initial internal union data. And also I want to mention that when you work in a union, that's how you get your health plans, your dental and all that stuff. I named one. Your dental, your vision, your regular health. This desk is so just inconvenient, and I keep hitting things on it, and it just pisses me off. Shipley says a living wage would offer at least $25.95 an hour. Currently, the union minimum for writers' assistants, assistant production coordinators, and art department coordinators is $16 an hour, or a little bit over, and $17.64 an hour for script coordinators. And as you can see, that's not good. Now that's great. That's great pay if you are working. I just came back from a Target in Fayetteville. Don't ask me why I went down there, but I had to go buy something for somebody for their birthday, and it's the only place I could find one. Jesus, but the people there, so nice, so lovely. Versus, I went to Walmart.com. They said they had it at a store here, so I stooped myself down to that level, and I went to a Walmart. And let's just say asking for help there was a burden. It was a real burden on those people. And I hate Walmart with a passion. Oh, I hate it so much. I hate the company. I hate the people that work there. But these higher minimums are what's needed in order to have people stay in the industry. People who have been fighting for this chance to even get these coordinator positions, and then to also not die, not live on the streets, not live with other people. At least, I mean, rent a room out of a house. When Local 871 began negotiating on behalf of the writers, assistants, and script coordinators for the first union contract in 2017, compromises were made on minimum rates in order to secure other wins, like access to the motion picture industry, pension, and health plans. See? Sometimes you have to lose a couple of dollars in order to save some in the long run of a health plan. Art department coordinators and assistant production coordinators, meanwhile, did not get minimum rates in their contract until 2015, and therefore were, for a time, unable to negotiate for percentage-based contractual wage increases. And there's a lot of people who are named in this piece. A lot of showrunners, a lot of producers, and I think it's great that they're using their power to talk about this. There's a consulting producer for SVU, Lisa Taguchi Cullen, who tweeted about paying an assistant partially out of her own pocket after her studio told her it paid a, quote, non-negotiable rate of $20 an hour to assistants. I mean, that's just for LA living. That's horrible, or for New York living and LA. That's horrible. When she was advocating for $25 an hour, and a lot, again, if you don't work in the industry, all this pay sounds great. Obviously, you can go to retail and you'll be lucky to make $12 an hour. You can go serve at a restaurant and you'll be lucky to make tip, period. But these are all specialized jobs. And imagine, if you work at a corporate job and you're getting paid, I don't know, $60,000 a year, and that equates out to what, $22 per hour. I mean, you're doing a specialized gig. You're an insurance adjuster. What do people do at corporate? You're a systems analyst. I don't know. That's why I work in television, because that's all I know. But imagine being paid $6 an hour for your job. Imagine being paid $11 an hour for your job, and you live in Denver, and the rent on your apartment is $1,800 a year. Excuse me. $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month. As we know, my years run from the 1st to the 30th, and then we start over. Sometimes the 31st, sometimes the 28th. At least once a year, the 28th. So imagine that being you, and then you're having, to live paycheck to paycheck, and you may live paycheck to paycheck right now. But if you make $60,000, you live paycheck to paycheck. Listen, let me tell you, that's $60,000 more than me right now. So you better get your head out of your ass. But yeah, this is all a lot of the producers, a lot of the talent, a lot of the people who created the shows, they make, and the network itself, they make all the money. And when it comes to these people who are below the line and behind the scenes, it's thankless positions. And to be living in LA, to uproot your entire life, to go to LA or New York and say, I'm going to do this, and then to land the job of a lifetime. Because again, not everybody gets a job. There are still people who are scratching and clawing, and they're in their 30s and 40s and their 50s. Then this is, to have this position, and also to have a position that is kind of, you're doing the same crap, the same heavy duty stuff that basically the people above you are doing. They may be running a show, but you have all the scripts. You have to make sure that the certain actor gets their script and the pages are right and all the lines are correct, and making sure that everything's running on time, or you're assisting and you're helping someone who's shoving a lot of those duties in your face, and you're doing literally the exact same thing. You just don't have the same title as them. So it may sound like people are complaining, this IATSE thing, this union's complaining, but it's not. They're doing what they can. All right. Oh my God, unlock. Okay, so listen, if you like what you heard here, and I don't know why you would, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous comedians like Chris Gethard and Laurie Kilmartin and Jermaine Fowler and Jen Kirkman and Ron Funches, and the Spanish Oddkey Presents. It's fun. Head to there and do it. If you want to see a video version of the show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see me sit with a shirt that has birds with fists on it. Also on youtube.com/cpluscomedy is our premiere show, News Time, where every single week, unlike this show, I do not skip a week. Knock on wood. But unlike the show, I did not skip a week. Knock on wood again. Unlike the show, did not skip a week. Knock on wood again. Third knock. I take one story and I dissect it like crazy. It's like The Daily Show, except way less funny. Last week's episode is an Olympic-themed episode, which, short story, I uploaded on Thursday, right before the opening ceremonies. I did that purposefully. And then that same night, it was copyright attacked, and they blocked the video. That was because the Olympic video, there's no sound or anything. They just knew I had their video. So I had to delete the video, edit some things, and re-upload it. Re-export and re-upload. And that was very frustrating to do on a Friday afternoon. That's why there wasn't an episode, because I had to re-edit this thing. And it was shot on my phone, and I used 4K for it. And so my laptop took like 2 hours to... it took me... I'm not joking. It took me the entire afternoon to do, because it was all in 4K. And then the audio wasn't mixing correctly because it was in 4K and my computer's old. Anyway, so that's what I did. Okay. Instagram, Twitter, @CPlusComedy. Me on Instagram and Twitter, @ChatBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen, rate, review, subscribe to this show. Tell your friends about this show. Thank you for listening. All right, we're bye. We're bye.